This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Let's Talk, your weekly current affairs show where we dissect pressing local issues with community leaders, policymakers and stakeholders. I'm your host, Akil Khalil. Today, we'll delve into Peterborough City Council's recent decision to make CCTV mandatory in taxis. This policy has sparked a lively debate about safety versus privacy and its potential financial burden on drivers. Joining us tonight are Nawab Khan, Chairman of the Peterborough Private Hire Association, Councillor Zamir Ali, and Executive Member Ali Haider. Assalamu alaikum. Great to have you all here in the studio with me. So, Peterborough's new mandate requires taxis to install CCTV to enhance passenger and driver safety. Over 1,800 drivers and operators have 12 to 18 months to comply. But while some hail this as a safety boost, others argue it's an invasion of privacy and an unaffordable expense. So let's start with our guests. Nawab Khan, as Chairman of Private Hire Association, what's your initial reaction to this policy?
The initial reaction was that this invades the privacy of the drivers. Even when the drivers are parked up in the rank, the CCTV camera is still recording. Even when you've got your family on board, it's still recording. And this invades the privacy. And also, the cost of the cameras could lead up to £750. And especially, if incidents happen, drivers have to go take their time off to have their recording taken out and have it viewed, which will have impact on his daily lives, and you don't know how long it's going to take for it to be sorted.
Yeah, I mean, I recall when I was doing some research on this, I was inclined to the way that you were just thinking. I was like, okay, so it's not just about when the customer's in the car. It's recording when the customer's not in the car. I can understand if it was like a couple of minutes before a passenger gets into the car, but I still don't understand the purpose of why it would be recording afterwards. So yeah, I mean, I completely understand that. And in terms of the time away from the work, so that would effectively also make a driver's day longer, wouldn't it?
Yes, certainly would.
Where you have to then upload that data. I'm assuming there's not going to be a sophisticated system where where you would be going to the cloud as you're driving. This would be literally, you finish your shift and then at some point you'd have to go and upload the data somewhere.
No. Hard drive. There's a hard drive in the car.
So you'd take the hard drive out or transfer the data?
No, we don't have a full info what exactly is going to be.
So they didn't break it down?
Didn't break it down.
Wow, okay. Councillor Zamir Ali, could you explain why, from your experience in this industry, and obviously being part of the council, and you're obviously aware of how it operates and so on, but why does the council believe that CCTV would be a net benefit to public?
I don't think it's going to be a net benefit when it comes to actually the public itself. The stats that we've got, just going to throw it out there in regards to it, is we took completed jobs from 3 largest firms in Peterborough. And that's so there's 113 operators, and we have now got data for only 3 of them. The information that we got was there's 5.6 million jobs being completed only by the 3 largest firms. That's not including the other 110 operators. That does not include the hackney carriages. And if you put the incidents reported, that's not incidents that were convictions or anything of that nature. It was literally what was reported. The stat is 0.000141 of a percentile, so it's minuscule. And if we go by other stats from, for example, London, Hackney is the only place in London that has implemented mandatory CCTV, and I don't think Peterborough's crime rates or Cambridgeshire's crime rates that we've got are that high.
Well, they're certainly not as close to London, are they? Where you have, killings on a daily basis.
Night
Okay.
crime and all sorts. I mean, like I said, they've referenced Manchester and Merseyside, and what we found is, to the best of my knowledge, and this is just data that I did research on, 276 licensed authorities out there. There can't be more than, I would say, there's less than 20. And I know certain ones that did implement it have actually gone back on it due to costs that is costing the actual council itself.
Okay.
So
That's interesting. And am I right in thinking here that part of this process, this consultation that you had, the cost was completely going to be at the door of the drivers?
well, yes, the equipment itself, the installation, will be coming from the drivers. It was stated in the actual specifications and the consultation itself.
Okay. Ali Heather, can you tell me how much does it cost to become a taxi driver in Peterborough?
It costs initially £750, but that is not just the cost. You've got your license. That's it.
What does that involve? Could you talk me through the steps?
So you have to take an English course.
Okay.
That is a one-day course, usually at the college. The usual cost is around £100. Then you have to do
£140. Sorry, I do apologise for jumping in
is
there.
it
And it's a competency course. They do basic maths. I've seen it before, and what I found is a young 15-year-old could probably do it quite easily.
Okay.
Like I said,
It's a tick box exercise, is it?
it's literally a tick
Okay.
box exercise.
Okay, so
that, and then you've got to do the. So you have to have a medical done. That's £50 to £60. You can get it done through various people. Not naming anybody, but it's between £30 and £50. And then you would have to take the actual test itself.
is that a practical test?
A practical test, and it's a knowledge test at the same time. A couple of companies do it, Blue Lamp, Green Penny.
DBS.
And then you have to have a DBS done. The cost of that is close to £100.
So that's an enhanced DBS?
Enhanced,
Yeah.
yeah, and you have to pay for it. The council has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
And then you apply for the badge. Usually you're given an initial 3-year badge, and you're paying more than 350 odd pounds for it. Something like that, yeah.
And all of this essentially rounds up to about £750, right?
Yes.
And then once you've got that, and then let's just say you decide you're going to go buy a car. So that's got its own separate cost.
Anywhere from £8,000 to £25,000 is quite regular nowadays.
Okay.
And then the insurance is prohibitive nowadays because it's gone up. I've just renewed my insurance. I've had no crashes. I've got 10 years no claims bonus, and it cost me £2,000.
That is staggering.
And the cost of becoming a taxi driver nowadays is ridiculous.
So what we're saying here is, let's just say somebody decided to buy a car for £25,000.
Yeah.
Put your insurance as an example, that's 27. Putting £750 to £1,000 for the licensing. So you're at £28,000.
You have to plate the car as well. So that's a separate cost. And if the car is if the car is new, then it's okay. But even if it's a year old, you have to MOT it. And then
And is that a special MOT?
Can I
Yes.
come in on that?
Yeah.
Even if the vehicle is brand new,
Yeah.
and as in government does not require to actually have an MOT, the licensing requirement is that you have to get it plated and checked by the council depot, and that's £192.
So all of this,
So you haven't even driven a car yet?
you haven't driven.
You haven't taken our first fare yet?
You haven't got, and then obviously there's little investments nobody thinks about because most systems are run off a PDA. You have to invest in a phone, so that means
Another cost?
another cost.
So
And-
we're getting to £30,000 here now. I've not driven my car yet. I've not taken any fares. And now I'm being told I need to put CCTV into my car.
Well, then you've got also accountancy fees as well as anything else, business costs, because for the simple reason that with these checks that they do, the DBS, the medical, they also do a tax and immigration check as well,
Okay.
just to make sure that you are legal to work in
You have a
England
right
as
to
well.
work, yeah.
Right to work as well as anything else. So we've got that. Like I said, the additional costs of plating, DBSs yourself. And then, like I said, you have to have some form of record keeping and give it to your accountant. So that's another £200 to £300 standard for a normal private hire driver.
Wow. I think many people don't actually appreciate this. They don't actually understand how much money it costs to become a taxi driver. It's really, really expensive.
It's very expensive.
And then you have a situation where you've been asked to spend another £750 to £1,000 installing CCTV, which encroaches on your working environment.
And then we don't know also what the cost of, like, when you renew your MOT, whether there will be a service charge on it, whether they need to recheck it, whether there will be a charge.
Wow.
Plus the insurance could go up.
Yeah.
If you install a camera worth up to £1,000,
Yeah.
you need to declare that to insurance.
You do.
So because for any breakage, somebody can steal it, so your premium is more likely to go up on that as well.
Just to come out on there, normal taxi insurances allow you to have approximately £500 worth of equipment within your vehicle. And if we're saying that now we've got a hard drive, a couple of mics, for
Two cameras.
Two cameras in a standard vehicle, you're referring to just a four-seater vehicle. I have vans. So depending on which way the seats are facing, so I would more than likely have four cameras in mine. Because obviously one's facing forward, the others are facing backwards, and depending on how many rows you have as well, would obviously then require additional fees.
Wow.
And then when it comes to, say, I specialise in schools transport work and tail lifts. So beyond the four-seater predicament of just the normal what you have, I have additional costs for tail lifts, tail lift maintenance, and so on and so forth. Even these cameras will require some form of maintenance.
Yeah, because remember, I mean, in a previous life, I was working in that electronic security industry. I can tell you, if your equipment isn't maintained and serviced every year, when you have a situation and it goes to court, the first thing the defence will do is ask you, when was the last time this system serviced or maintained? If the timestamp on your footage is slightly off, all of these things come into play. So you could have potentially been robbed in your cab, and you couldn't use that as evidence. So you got all of these things to play. I'm trying to paint a picture here and understand that it's costing you all this money to get to this point, and you haven't charged somebody a fare. Would you say this is a trade that a lot of people are trying to get into, even with all of these costs in play?
A lot of people are getting into the trade of getting the badge, and what they're doing then is they're spending about, I would say, two years at least minimum working for a company where they're using company cars, and then building up their savings or something of that nature to be able to buy a car eventually. I mean, when I started originally, I did a company car, then I bought a car that was, I think, £750. And the irony of it was that it was perfectly safe, MOT'd and everything else, but it had about 5 different colours of grey on it. I'm not even kidding you. It happened. And it happened, and I remember we getting stopped by the DVSA and the licensing department, and they checked my vehicle over, and everything was fine on it. Next day in the morning, it was the first car on the front page of the ET, and I phoned up and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Because for a simple reason, everything of my vehicle was fine.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it was the worst looking vehicle.
Yeah, that's the issue.
And that's why they use that as an example to be able to say. But like I said, it was perfectly roadworthy, legal, and everything else is just like I said to you, had different greys on it.
I wish I'd seen a picture of it now.
I'm sure I can find it somewhere.
Okay, so just looking at all this there, so you've got your compliance check, you've got all your licensing, your enhanced DBS check, you've bought your vehicle, you've paid for your insurance, everything's been paid for. Do you feel, Ali Heather, that is sufficient to become a taxi driver? And from your perspective, do you feel that CCTV would either enhance the experience for a driver and a passenger or not?
I'm saying in certain cases it might. night driving. There is different things, but for most drivers, no. The main problem that we have when it comes to taxi driving is passengers not paying. It's very easy to sort that out. You take the payment up front. The company that I work for, we just, as soon as the customer gets in the car, we just said, it's this much. Are you paying by card or cash? And we stop it straight away. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of nighttime work as well. And a lot of the drivers just take it. So is it going to stop all illegal activity? No, but I don't think having a camera there would stop it either.
But it's a deterrent, isn't it?
Would it though?
Yeah, but think about it. So a lot of CCTV so the UK is the most watched country in the world. And what you'll find is, if somebody wants to commit a crime, they're going to commit it anyway. So I agree with you. Yeah. But if you're wearing a body-worn camera, or if you've got a camera in front of your door, you're going to have a level of deterrent. Someone's saying, oh, you know what, it's got cameras there, I can't do anything dodgy. So I can understand it just from that perspective. You sit in a car like, okay, these guys are watching me. But I'll say one thing to you. If I was a passenger and I got into your taxi and your cameras recorded me, I'd actually feel quite uncomfortable.
So let me answer that question quickly. You know the way the CCTV is meant to work in our car is it's allowed to record, but not the sound to start off with, unless a panic button is pressed.
Oh.
One with the driver, one with the passenger in the back.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you just an example. If a customer has been racist to me or whatever, something has kicked off, and then he's decided to say something to me and then press the panic button, only thing recorded is my answer.
Yeah.
There's only one-way conversation happening.
That's right.
Right? I might be mad at that time and say something that I wouldn't normally say.
Yeah.
Right? So how does it really protect me? It's not protecting me.
No.
And the other thing is, and I think that I want to make this point, is that if the council want it so badly, why don't they pay for it? They earn enough money from us.
Yeah. I mean, that I have to say that I found that quite interesting actually when I was doing the research on this. That the entire bill is been made to go towards. I mean, they could turn around and say, "Look, we're bankrupt. They're almost there anyway." But and money's tight, and they can't afford to do it. Also, that being said, part of the profession, I'm assuming, they would say, you've decided to take on this profession, we would need this as a security measure. I'll be frank with you. The messages that I've had from people so far has been a bit mixed. So some people have said, I think it's a great idea because this will make me feel safe. A lot of young people, especially women who've got in touch about before the show went live, have said, we would feel safer, not because of the actual driver. We would just feel safer being transported around the city if there was a camera there. But then the other siders have been other people who've texted as well who've said the fact that the cameras are still rolling after they've dropped somebody off is an invasion of privacy. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag, to be quite honest with you. Sorry, you can...
Let me come in on that. 68%, to the best of my knowledge, from the consultation itself, the people that did the consultation, and this is passengers, not drivers, said that it's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
They would not feel comfortable being in a cab where they are being recorded. I deal with some executive customers. They deal with business. I mean, like I said, we do all sorts of it. They did say that there's an exemption that executive vehicles could have, but because mine falls into both brackets, I got executive customers who saying, if you have that, I can't book you because I've sensitive information that I'd be on the phone with, and I know you're not going to give it away. You ain't going to got a clue. But if someone does find out that information, it could cost me a lot of money.
It could, yeah, especially if you're in an organisation. I mean, first of all, someone shouldn't really be talking about sensitive information on the back of a cab, but we're human beings, we do things.
Well, we're on the phone.
Yeah, these things happen.
2-hour journey.
That's right.
Because most of them are working. Sorry, I cut in. Most of them, when they leave home, they're on the work straight away. They're either on their laptop, they're on their computer, or they're on their phone. And they're making calls to their secretary or whatever. And I just want to go back a bit where they said the passengers don't feel safe. but they know the driver that's driving them is being DBS checked before they got in the car. They've got his registration number on their phone. They've got his name. They've got everything, his picture.
Yeah.
So the customer knows, say if a passenger booked me from the station, he knows which car I'm pulling in, what's the registration of the car, what is my name, and my badge, everything. They have all the information. So they feel safe anyway, especially with the DBS check.
Yeah, and I think, that was some of the feedback we've had on the show as well. People have texted saying, I know everything about my driver, like you just mentioned, about the car, the person, the badge number, where the firm. And I think what you highlighted, I think is really important to share as well, is that it's always really, really important to book a taxi through a registered firm.
Yes.
I will also add the systems that are now run by some of these larger firms. It actually tracks speed. It actually tracks exactly where you are. So if I was meant to be picking yourself up, and I don't move to pick you up, they'll take the job back off me. So GPS is a standard with all of these large firms now. And like I said, when it comes to interaction, they even rate you, it's just like Uber.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Where you can see your driver on the map.
Yes.
That's really, really good.
It actually, if I take a wrong route, right, and the customer complains that they took a wrong route, the office can actually check the point of I picked the passenger up, which street I went to, which corner I went to, where I stopped, why I stopped. So everything is already being recorded.
And am I right in thinking, I work myself in software, that data can be exported out to the council, can't it?
Easily.
Yes, easily.
Literally, I can phone up. I had a person phone me up in regards to a complaint regarding a different firm. Obviously, I know the firm, so I phoned up the manager, and I said to him, "I've had this complaint, and we need to get to the bottom of it." And he goes, "What driver was it? When was it?" I only had minimum information. He found the journey, the driver, where they picked up from, what was what's the route they took, and initially it was the route that they took that was the issue. But when we checked the route itself, the driver was perfectly fine in what he was doing, and that's where the level of competency in systems is now, because we don't have the old radios, where the driver can take a left turn and think, what, it's on the meter, we'll happily do it. It's nothing of
You've
that
taken me
nature.
back to the 80s there.
At this moment in time, Peterborough drivers specifically are the most tracked and looked for time-stamped drivers pretty much in the country.
So then why do they want CCTV in the cars then? When we've got driver, car, firm, time, location, metadata, maps, enhanced DBS checks. I could go on from what I'm listening to you, in what you're saying this evening. You've got all this, the wealth of this information available at any time. Look, in this radio station, as you know, we're regulated by Ofcom. If Ofcom ask us, okay, can you tell us at 5:55 p.m. what did you play? I can say exactly what night it was or what speech it was and so on. So we have to have an audit trail.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same for the taxi trade.
Exactly the same. And licensing can request any form of data that they require, the booking, who took the booking. And to be absolutely honest with you, most of the larger firms record all their conversations. One thing I will add as well, if there is trouble within the cab and the gentleman calls for emergency or something of that nature, their interactions that they are doing with the office now is digital as well. All of them are recorded. Before, when we had the older system with a specific firm, even they were recorded via the radio. And
it just shows you how much technology's moved on. So I know you. How long have you been in the trade?
I've been 12 years.
And yourself?
7 years full time.
And yourself?
Since 2006.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, but there's a person, I think his name was Sarfraz Ali. I think it was either in the 80s or very early 90s. He was stabbed to death in Peterborough.
Late 80s.
Late 80s.
It.
There you go. And I'm just thinking about him right now because Allah give him Jannah. When you mentioned about this technology and how it helped, it wouldn't have saved him.
It wouldn't have saved him.
Because what you've just said is that you or the passenger has to interact with the system in the car, which then records the audio. I mean, visually, you would have got the footage of that happening, but you wouldn't have what led up to that situation. and I'm mindful of these things. We're going to be heading towards a break shortly, but before we do that, why do you feel Peterborough has been selected? I mean, what other cities? I know you mentioned Hackney.
I think you know what it is. The way is that there's government guidance that says CCTV should be fitted.
Okay,
that's what they're saying.
Okay,
but they're not mandating it for all the councils.
Okay.
They will sooner or later. When that happens, it happens to everybody, and that's fine. What they're doing is they're picking the smaller councils.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, you need to do it, right? Because TfL hasn't done it. A lot of Birmingham's not in it.
That's actually, Bradford, I find that out of all of the councils, I find that quite shocking.
Bradford, Manchester, all the big councils.
So Bradford, Manchester, Birmingham don't have it.
Don't have it. I don't think Liverpool have it. No, I'm just.
No, Merseyside don't. Manchester don't. Bradford have just. I think they're going to bring something in, but the Bradford Council are actually paying for it. So to the best of my knowledge, I think they're bringing something.
So we're
in
getting very, very different kind of signals on what should be happening, and it all depends on the licensing officers.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
ये कोविड-19 फ्लू से अपने आप को बचाने का वक्त है। अगर आप या खानदान का कोई फर्द इस मौसम सरमा में वैक्सीन के अहल हैं, तो आप आसानी से अपॉइंटमेंट बुक कर सकते हैं या ऑनलाइन वॉक इन क्लिनिक तलाश कर सकते हैं। और यहाँ तक कि अगर आपको पहले कोविड-19 या फ्लू की वैक्सीन लग चुकी है, ये बाकायदा फरोग देने वालों के लिए सिर्फ एक जॉब था। मुकम्मल तौर पर महफूज रहना अभी भी जरूरी है। मजीद जानने के लिए कोविड और फ्लू की वैक्सीन पीटरबोरो के लिए ऑनलाइन तलाश करें।
For the top pizza in Peterborough, visit Top's Pizza, established in 1988 for delicious pizzas with freshly made dough daily. View the extensive and mouth-watering menu online at topspizza.co.uk, then choose from traditional tasty toppings, something different, or create your own with fresh 100% halal meats, salads, veg, and a great choice of sides too. Call into Top's Pizza, 52 Broadway, PE1 1SB. Call 01733 913 775 or order online for delivery or collection.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374. High in quality, low in prices.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalising variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our location at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
Whether you visit the Berry Furniture Showroom at 78B Fengate in Peterborough or view and buy online, you'll be amazed at the quality and style you could enjoy in your home. With beds from just £299 and complete 321 sofa sets from less than £1,000, you'll also be amazed at their wholesale prices too. Plus, there's a 1-year free warranty on sofas and beds, subject to conditions. Find out more, click on Berry, that's BERRE furniture.co.uk or call 01733 300 517.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices. or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We are discussing the new mandatory CCTV policy for Peterborough taxis. So let's continue. I'll have a quick look through our social media. You can, of course, text the show on 07411 191062, or like as many other people have been doing, commenting on Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. First of all, there's a lot of people showing a lot of love to you all here. So people are supporting what you're saying, Stanley. We've got Sad Eunice saying Peterborough City Council need to understand that drivers also use their cars for personal use, i.e. taking their own children to school or taking their family out shopping, etc. I think that's a general feeling, isn't it? You know, although your vehicle is used for business purposes, it is sometimes your only vehicle. So you can't be recording your families. I mean, they might have a secret recipe for something they don't want to share. David Laurie, forgive me, David, I don't know how to pronounce your middle name. You're saying in terms of, switching it off, there must be an override switch. I mean, it's a suggestion. It's a suggestion. The audio can be the audio can and should be switched on as soon as a passenger is approaching the vehicle, not after the abuse has started. That's a fair point. I do agree with that. Saj also says if women have concerns, they can ask for a female driver. It's 2024, not 1960. There are more than 50 female private hire drivers. Actually, do you know, when I was doing some research for this, I think it was Gold Star, actually. They were doing
They've just done it.
Pink event.
They've taken on a lot of... they did an open session where they had lady drivers who want to drive. We've seen a massive increase in regards to... We've seen a good increase in regards to female drivers coming into a trade. We welcome it and we appreciate that as well. And what we're finding is that a lot of them are just doing school jobs. They're not doing the day-to-day. Some are as well. Yeah. Let me come back on the David Laurie comment. Was the only reason that they've decided to have a button for the good old recording of the voices and whatnot, audio, is because Section, I think it's the Human Rights Act, Section 5 of the Human Rights Act, they're not allowed, the ICO did not allow continuous recording. And one of the boroughs that did try to do it in that manner, they got literally their hand slapped and said, you can't do that, take it back, we are rejecting it. So that's one of the reasons why it's a technicality to which they must not record constantly. And that would be then, in one sense, regarded as invasion of privacy.
Understood. Go ahead.
Even when you have a passenger in the car, and if he's arguing with you, swearing at you, and you start to record it. If he turns out and says in the court that he only started recording when I got aggressive, he didn't record what he said. Mm-hmm. So that's case dismissed because you haven't got a full evidence there.
Correct.
So there's no point having a system which does not back you up fully.
Yeah, and I agree with you. We've got a lengthy message here from I'll just skim through it from Mohammed Sajid. He says it doesn't warrant the need, as statistics do not warrant the need. It's too expensive. Drivers recently were asked to install meters, and then they don't have meters anymore. He mentions about following the rules. Feels this is the council just trying to make more money from drivers themselves, and goes on to say that you don't expect our votes next time. And this was started from the previous government. When will the council think of alternatives? And drivers are just fed up. I think Mohammed Sajid, thanks for your comment. That is coming through quite a lot, actually. A lot of people have commented about they feel that this is just Peterborough City Council trying to make more money. And they don't feel this is a safety element. This is what's coming through the comments. Thanks for that, Mohammed. and more people. We've got Ishfaq Hussain, who's just commented, says the council have gone about this totally wrong. Rather than mandating it and adding their own requirements, further complicating the installation and use, the council should have given drivers the option and offered incentives like discounts on licence fees to compensate the drivers. This also infringes on the drivers' privileges and privacy, as many vehicles are used for personal use. Hope councillors do the sensible thing tomorrow and kick this idea to the curb. Peterborough City drivers are vetted and have advanced DBS checks. The publics are safe without Big Brother in every nook and cranny. And Ishfaq, thanks for the message. Appreciate you listening to the show. A lot of people actually agree with Ishfaq there as well. You're all articulating similar messages as well about this. So can we just talk about Nawab Palmer, actually? This strain, the cost of having the CCTV system, as well as spending thousands of pounds of getting the car, getting insured and checked and so on. Do you feel that this financial strain will lead to potentially higher fares for customers?
Probably could, because as you know, nothing comes for free. At the moment, the Peterborough is the cheapest in the whole of United Kingdom.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Right, because the minimum fare is charged like £5. Private hire firms, some are even doing it for £4.
One of your sponsors actually does it for $3.99.
Oh, I think I know who that is.
So
he also does mangoes as well, doesn't he?
If there's two of you travelling to Orton from city centre, it's cheaper to take a taxi than jump on a bus.
I did not know that. Wow. You are a Nawab for a reason then, my friend. I like that. But no, look, the point being here is, look how expensive diesel is, right? Yeah. And we don't have that many electric taxis in Peterborough at the moment. We do have quite a few Hackneys, but not enough private hire EVs, do we?
Let me add, the Hackneys that do have electricity-based vehicles have paid over £60,000 for them as well.
That is staggering. That's a staggering amount of money.
And then
they're struggling.
They're struggling.
They're struggling big time, because
is it because the prices are so low?
But the prices are low. Plus they've paid £60,000, and plus there's not enough charging points in the city.
Well, and let me add as well. Originally, when they bought it, there was an incentive going on that certain points of charging it were free.
Yes, I know where they are. In the city centre specifically.
Now they're not.
They're not, yeah. And do you know what's interesting as well about what you just said there, Zamir, which is that a lot of these spaces where you could charge, I'm an EV driver, so I know quite a lot of the spots, you have to pay to park now as well as charge. Yes. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, that's another thing altogether.
If you want to go into EV in regards to it, put it this way, you will know as well as anyone else, EV, they wanted to do something with the EV with the large vehicles that we have, and the predicament we'll find is that they only go a certain distance. In the winter, the charging is
the range is atrocious.
Yes, so it depends. By the way, I'm a big Tesla guy, so I can tell you. So it depends on what manufacturer you go for, and its software, and its charging network. So Tesla's got the largest charging network in the world.
You're correct, but we're talking about taxis.
Taxis, you're right. Yeah, right. I'm just start defending Tesla.
No, you're correct. But a 350-mile range from a Tesla.
Yeah.
Does not. You know how much the electric taxis get because they're PHVs?
Is it like 50 miles or something?
It's meant to be 70. They get nowhere near that.
Wow. And they've spent £60,000 as well.
So that means they've got to charge twice a day to try and get electric out of it. It's just ridiculous.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Well, they could be waiting for a fare for up to 2 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so Ali Heather, while I have you, do you think that this policy change, if it's implemented tomorrow, how do you think passengers will perceive taxi services in Peterborough?
You see, I think there'll be, truthfully, two kinds. Some people don't mind the CCTV in the car, and that'll be fine. But there is a certain class of customers that don't want CCTV.
Yeah.
And they don't want it, they'll not use you.
So that's the danger, isn't it?
That is the danger. And then I think we touched upon this, the issue of cross-border taxis. So I'll explain what cross-border taxis are.
Please do.
So there are taxis that are licensed in other areas. So I'll give you certain examples. Rutland, Wolverhampton, North Kesteven, Huntingdonshire. Those are the main ones. We do have South Camps.
Fenland as well.
Yeah, Fenland as well. Now, these taxis are not mandated to get CCTV at all. all of them can work in Peterborough. So then you have a two-tier system where Peterborough taxis are going to be forced to have CCTV. There'll be a migration to cross-border.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for all of us drivers, like all three drivers sat here, very easy to go to Rutland. They can't stop you.
And then the net loss there is the council starts losing money too.
Exactly.
My colleague and we sat down and we actually said, okay, how much is it going to cost us to get CCTV? And then how much is it going to cost us to transfer all our plates and our drivers? And it come up about half.
Oh, and there's your incentive. There's your incentive.
There's no reason for me
this
to
is
stay.
what we're saying.
Yeah.
Like a Rutland driver, for example, pays less in fees, can have an older car. Yeah, he's getting the exact same fare working in Peterborough. What incentive is it to a Peterborough driver to carry on working?
You know, you're
in
right.
Peterborough?
You're absolutely right. I did actually read that you mentioned Wolverhampton, specifically in London. There's been this whole hoo-ha about Wolverhampton drivers driving all the way into London, M25 section, all around airports and things like that, and they're getting all the benefits that the London drivers are not getting. They're having to pay more higher fees. So my question to you is cross-border taxi drivers a problem for the city?
I wouldn't say it was a problem. What we're finding is that Wolverhampton are everywhere. It's not just London.
So it's literally everywhere, yeah?
I went to Ramsgate a few weeks ago, and my friend works in Ramsgate, and he was saying that there's literally Wolverhampton vehicles here. There's Wolverhampton everywhere you go. Birmingham took him to court. There was an incident where Birmingham said that we're not happy with this cross-border thing, because obviously Birmingham, being right next door to him, and said we're not happy. They took him to the High Court. The High Court checked it out for the simple reason because cross-border is
legal.
So my question to you would be, if you were personally booking a taxi going from this studio to your home, and the price was the same, does it matter which taxi picks you up as long as he's properly licensed? It doesn't matter where he's licensed. Doesn't matter, does it? So there's no incentive for a Peterborough guy to carry on paying those stupid amounts of money that we were talking about when he could pay less.
Do you agree with Ali Heather? Let me know. You can text me on 07411 191062 or comment on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. The question is, do you feel safer with mandatory CCTV in taxis? Do let me know your thoughts. Zamir?
The point I was going to make in regards to when they said safeguarding, and I completely understand when it comes to safeguarding and everyone should be safe. But when you're taking a taxi, you're going to call up whatever firm you want. You don't know which taxi you're going to get because these operators in Peterborough have multiple different operating licenses from different authorities to which they can subcontract and send any taxi to you. So you won't be getting a specific Peterborough taxi.
You could get Rutland.
You could get Rutland, Huntingdon. And I saw one today that I didn't even recognise the plate to, but they were working for a well-established firm in Peterborough, and I took a photo. I was trying to find out which one it is, but actually I didn't know. I didn't recognise the plate myself, and this is what I mean.
It's an open door policy. Is what you're saying to me?
Literally, I'm not even kidding you. Here's a caveat that a lot of people don't know. So South Kents have normal vehicles as Hackney vehicles.
Yes, I've seen that.
So you've seen that. So those Hackney vehicles are legally able to drive as private hire vehicles anywhere in the UK. There will not be anything stopping them from driving, because as long as they've got a Hackney badge, they can drive as a private hire in any district.
That's interesting.
So, and because we have Hackneys that are actual London cabs, a lot of these other districts don't, because they're too small, and obviously the cost implications for Hackneys to have, it's a London cab, what we refer as, an M2 vehicle. So you wouldn't know if that's a private hire or a Hackney that's coming to pick you up. That's why they be on their ranks in Stamford and so on and so forth. But when they come here, they just look like a normal car to us.
That's interesting.
At the end of the day, these days, I think out of 10 cars, if you booked a taxi, you probably get 4 Peterborough cars. Rest are all.
Now that's a
different.
stat,
right? I mean,
that's
obviously, it's not exact. It's not exact. It's just approximate.
Yeah.
So you rang for. So you rang for a taxi. Any plate can come in, Huntingdon, Cambridgeshire, or anybody can come in. So the only Peterborough license plate has to have a camera. Why?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. Can you can you tell us what's going to happen tomorrow? I know you have this vote that's happening tomorrow. What can we expect Peterborough drivers to be doing tomorrow?
We want Peterborough drivers to come to the back of Town Hall.
Okay.
Right, which is 525 to show their concerns, and so the council and support, so the councillors can see that how important these taxi drivers, this taxi trade is in Peterborough. Most of the councillors use taxis to get to go to A to B. Mm-hmm. And they can understand it. So we want the councillors to support the drivers. If it's to become mandatory in the whole country, we would go with it.
Yeah.
But not just pick one small city where at the moment one Peterborough car and the other 5 are all from different district. Why should Peterborough drivers should be penalised for it when we're paying so much to maintain our car, to have the MOT, and the car needs to be only in there for 7 years from brand new, right? So there's a limit on the cars as well. MOT twice a year.
Yeah. There's all of this is a cost.
All of this is a cost.
What if there was a phased approach to this? Okay, so they said to you, there's within 5 years we want to get to these cameras, but leading up to these 5 years there were subsidies, there was discounts, there was support. How would you feel about that? Anyone who's listening on FM right now, you would have seen Zamir shaking.
I would say phase support. No, if they're willing to pay for it, I'll have it.
Okay, so what we're saying here is that
the cost, but the thing is, I would still think maybe I'll move to Rutland.
So are we saying then, so one, they paid for it, two, there was a mechanism in place to allow you to control when it does record and doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't record while you're with your family. It doesn't record while you just sat on the rack.
Especially
it literally just records when it's a passenger.
Yeah. So you press a button, you picked up a passenger, it records. And then as soon as you got rid of the passenger, you press a button, it switches off.
What if there was a technology? I mean, I'm probably going to share a really cool business idea now. Mm-hmm. So Zamir's like going to take this down. What if it was when your taxi gets booked? So I'm right in thinking that if you book a taxi, the driver and that whole fare is only insured if it's pre-booked, right? Yes. So what if there was some just hear me out on this. What if there was some software where I ring up your firm, say I need a taxi to London. So as you book me through your system, it sends that notification to your car, which then activates the camera system when the passenger gets into the car.
It's a long shot, you know. I mean,
it is a long shot, but I mean, all business ideas are.
The thing is, it's a long shot at the moment, you know. But like what I said in the past, you know, what I mean, any driver that you booked a taxi, that you know the company have checked him, the council have checked the vehicle, he has been DBS checked. So it's not that anybody can just get up and take my car. If they steal it, that's a different story. But you know what I mean. So do you know the public is actually feels safe with the driver?
And I'll say one thing with you, and I do agree with you, all of you as well, and a lot of people in the comments as well, which is that this isn't a national policy. Well, it's certainly not a nationally enforced policy, is it? Right? Do you feel from the conversations you've had with the council and with your colleagues in the trade and with your passengers that this is eventually going to get to that point? Do you think we're going to, in 5-10 years time, it's going to be there?
Yeah, probably. You know what I mean? Like when we've been to council meetings, you know what I mean? I shouldn't be saying these, but I think I might as well bring up. Actually, we was told, you know what I mean? So I said, where did you get this status from? Where did you get this? They said from Google. Right.
So real research being done then.
Research is being done from Google. So they've gone into Google and searched it and said, there's your answer.
I mean, they're not here to defend themselves tonight, but okay. Yeah. I mean, everyone uses Google, don't they? Yeah. You guys could use that to counter your argument, I guess. So tomorrow is a crucial day, right?
It's a big crucial day for us.
And tomorrow is the final vote. So when that hammer comes down, that's the final decision.
That's the final decision.
Okay. And there's no way you can appeal it.
No.
Yes, there is.
There is there?
There is. So then we can take it to judicial review.
Yeah.
And go from there. What I found is, I think we had a consultation before this one started, and there were certain points of having the plate at the front of the vehicle to better visualization for the customer to be able to know what vehicle is they're getting into, or when if they have had an incident or something of that nature, there's more points of reference in regards to what vehicle it was.
So identification of the car.
Identification of the vehicle, certainly having badges more visible in regards to it, maybe having, and these were put through, but they haven't been implemented. And this what happened on the last consultation itself, and this was the original emissions one that we originally started. But I started from originally with these guys. So my question always is if you had those ideas in the first place, and they were passed, and we agreed to them as well, why haven't they been implemented? So,
and whose fault? Whose fault do you think that is? Whose fault is it it's not been implemented?
Well, the thing is, we all know, right? The council does not have that much resource.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They don't have a resource to follow up. Even as a taxi driver, if there was incidents, you call the police don't even turn up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless it was a very serious, there has been serious incidents, you've called the police, they're too busy because there's not many around.
Yeah.
They're busy dealing with other situation. And same thing with the council. You have, I think, maybe 4 or 5 designated taxi license officers, right? They don't have enough time. You cannot even, you ring the council office, anybody can try it, you will not even get through. They only allow taxi drivers to come to see them on a Thursday, which we had to ask and request. So they opened up the office for the drivers, so drivers could go there, have their problem sorted out.
Okay, so with that in mind, how do you feel your relationship is as an association? You being the chair, how do you feel your relationship is with the council?
Right now, it's a bit. Licensing do have a lot more on their plate. It's not just. They're just not licensing officers. There are a certain number of them, but they actually license alcohol, gambling, animals. They've got a massive list of what they do. We are one of one cog.
Okay.
They do help us. I mean, they do their best of their ability.
It's just under-resourced.
Under-resourced.
Okay, and I guess the council will say, well, people who are part of the council machine would say every department's under-resourced.
And just a final question on the resource. So they are thinking of mandating CCTV, and then they will be the ones that have access to the CCTV. So that means you need somebody to actually physically draw the data out. You're going to need 2 people to do that. So you need more people there. You're already saying you got no money. So
you feel that, again, because it's under-resourced, who's going to be the data controller?
Yeah.
Who's going to help with the facilitation of what you've just described?
They're saying that it'll be okay. They don't know exactly.
So they don't. Okay, so you weren't convinced.
We're not convinced at all. We think we'll be a burden on them.
Is this a full council vote tomorrow?
Yes.
And how do you feel it's going to go?
Oh, we're just hoping and
we're
praying
hopeful.
that hopeful.
We're very hopeful.
All the councillors listening. You know what I mean? They do their research and they see what's going on, and I mean they actually know they can.
The amount of messages you got, how many have said, "Oh look, maybe you shouldn't go forward. Maybe you should look."
Most people have agreed with you,
and there's a reason. It's not because we're shouting from the rooftops that we're right.
Yeah,
that doesn't make you right.
Yeah.
What is if you try and give a convincing argument? We've tried today.
Even the evidence is no evidence. So what's the point of having something?
I like that, but that's a factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in terms of your own defence as well. Like if you're driving your car, how can you present in a court of law the other side of that argument that it just didn't record?
Just didn't record.
Yeah. There's some definitely. I think listening to yourselves this evening and learning about this situation, there's a lot of flaws in what's been proposed. and I think it'll be interesting. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. When do you expect the vote to be taking place?
Well, it starts at 6. We don't know what time it's going to finish. Obviously.
Section 9A. I mean, as I said, I've got invested interest, so I won't be able to vote on it.
No, I appreciate that. But I mean, if you talk us through this bit, I mean, how long is there a deliberation? Or is it just a vote?
No. There's going to be. I'm expecting there's a number of people that do want to speak on it, and there will be. I think there will be a debate on it. I think it's quite a charged subject where there's going to be views on both sides.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it's going to be interesting. They were very impressed in regards to when it came to our committee meeting and how long it went and how many people we had and the information and the consistency that we showed. Ali Haider with his very almost 10-minute speech that he just finished.
10 minutes and 22 seconds.
I love that.
I was only allowed 10 minutes. They didn't let me finish.
They didn't let me finish. Literally,
There's 3 words left.
That's fantastic.
There's going to be a lot of people speaking on it in regards to who, what, where, and when, what they think about it, what their constituents think about it, and there's going to be, like I said, a strong vibe there. I would always say that if people are going to turn up to the council, please make sure that it's nice and peaceful.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I understand this. It's an emotive and strong
strength of feeling, isn't there?
Strength of feeling, but please keep your passions addressed, and we're there to help you guys, and they, at the end of the day, are decision makers. So let's keep it nice and easy and nice, calm and relaxed, and hopefully, inshallah, we will see what the result is, and we will do what we need to do, whatever the result is. So
okay,
we can only request the councillors.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, we're an association. We work voluntarily. We do not charge any fees and anything. And we request all the drivers to turn up there at 5:25. Please and show your support.
And there you go. That's from the chairman himself. So thank you to our guests and listeners for an engaging discussion. The mandatory CCTV policy raises vital questions in safety. I wish you all well and come back and let us know how it went.